take it, I'll be fine. It's just a matter of time. Chete ko hunting dizoza wakata. Laskutita kumbo peri mwara nengane china. Chikumba nina sindi chirinda kata. Maungani rove zikumek. Believe. Nita kundi domota you played. Deceive. Wakani rakiza ze shuo turimwa. Now if dinema costa kundi toma kumba kwedu. Zoka utore juzira kora wakakanganwa. Nikani tarira no shaya rukare. Utore numbita kota makasi ya mumba mangu. Nikani tarira no shaya rukare. No shaya rukare. Waka to the attention I gave you the shit. I'm broke from all the dreams that you were selling me. But I felt I should tell you this.
Think about the song.
I've never heard that song before. I think it's quite good.
Yeah, it's a good breakup song. I mean, it's a good heartbreak song, actually. It's a very good heartbreak song. I thought you'd go with the discussion.
Good pick.
Introductions, I think that would be good before we start. I'll start. I'm Anupam from Creatism. I'm going to be co-hosting.
Hi, I'm Tanya. I'm also from Creatism, and I'll be co-hosting on part 2.
Hi, I'm Bianca. I'm also a volunteer at Creatism.
Hi everyone, my name is Wanai. I am volunteering at.
So, if you had to go to a deserted island with only 3 things besides anything besides your phone, what would you take?
That's a tricky one.
That's a good one.
But wherever I go.
What about the other 2 things?
The only thing I can think of is lip balm. I can't think of anything else. Okay, anything else? I can't take. Oh, sorry, other than my phone. So bad. I can't. Because anything else wouldn't last long. I was gonna say water. That won't last a long time, so there's no point.
I've been thinking about it, and honestly, I don't know because I love food, guys. I really, really love food. And the first thing that comes to my mind is food, right?
Guys, what is heartbreak? Because I've heard one on that you answer this question. She's looking at someone's heartbreak. When someone is heartbroken, what's going on? So the definition that is given is heartbreak is very great sadness and emotional suffering, especially after the end of a love affair, close relationships. That was by the Collins Dictionary 2021. But what are your thoughts? What do you think heartbreak is besides this? What is heartbreak?
I feel like heartbreak is in the sense of using a physical heart being broken. I think you kind of take the physical aspect of a broken physical heart into like emotional, and the pain that you'd have if you're
experiencing is heartbreak. When it happens, yes, happened. How do you then know that this is heartbreak?
But I think heartbreak comes with a lot of things, man. Everything around you becomes negative. I mean, you lose personal confidence with whatever you do. I mean, everything just sucks. You get to an extent of hating everything. I mean, you begin to hate even yourself. I mean, you can get that kind of a feeling where you feel shy to go out. Like that feeling we used to have when we were kids, like, oh, man, I can't go out, like everyone's gonna laugh at me, you know what? So
yes,
it all comes with experiencing a heartbreak. So it's a whole mixed bag of feelings.
Feelings, yes, yes.
Yeah,
I understand. So basically, the feeling is it's more like you reach a point where you look back at yourself and you ask yourself questions, but where did I go wrong? So it's
Of
not
course.
just disappointment, but it's more like disappointment plus. So it's, you have reached a point where you question, like, especially in a love affair, where you have goals and expectations that you and your lover have been building, their mutual trust and hope that this relationship is going to start, then suddenly it just drops. It kind of brings you back to asking yourself, where did I go wrong?
Yeah, of course.
So my input as a person. Bianca, what do you think?
Yeah, from what Anesuishe said, it sounds like there's also shame involved. Like when he was saying, like, what are people going to think about me? How is the society going to see me?
Honestly, I can't actually say whether I've experienced heartbreak before, right? But I agree with the person who said that it's just a whole mixed bag of negative emotions, a little bit of disappointment, a little bit of this and that.
I have a question for you guys. I was once told again by another friend that you never heal from a heartbreak, but it gets better with time. What's your take on that? You don't heal from a heartbreak, but it gets better with time. Is it true or it's false?
So I feel like you can move on from it, but not completely heal or forget about it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think Tanya is right. I think she's right. I mean, the healing part is getting better with time. So
that's
healing. Yeah, that's the healing. Yeah, it's not something you can completely forget, because a small thing can trigger memories, then the wound becomes fresh again. So the pain is not, it does not go extinct totally, but something can trigger and it becomes fresh again.
Okay.
My network. But I was saying that I think it's pretty possible to heal from heartbreak. I don't know, maybe my experiences haven't been heartbreak if I think this way, but I think it's possible because I know that people have been pointing out that if you have a certain partner and some actions that they do can trigger you remember. Oh guys, I'm sorry. I was saying, if for instance I got my heart broken by this one person, right? And then my next relationship is with a person who understands healthy love, I think it's pretty possible to heal from your heartbreak because they sort of teach you to unlearn some of the coping mechanisms that you acquired from your past relationships. And I think eventually you can actually totally move on. That is if your next relationships are healthy relationships and not, like the last relationship that you're in. But
okay. So the next slide. Right. This one is an open one. Can it be avoided? Judging by the fact that most of you have told me that you haven't really experienced heartbreaks in like the type of heartbreaks we're discussing. Can we say you guys have avoided heartbreaks, or I don't know? Can a heartbreak be avoided? Can it be avoided, or it's something that you can't avoid?
This might be a bit controversial, what I'm about to say, but
yes.
I think that it can be avoided in the sense of in younger people, if that makes sense. I feel like sometimes, especially in this generation, I've seen people younger than me and they've had a lot of boyfriends or girlfriends, let's say, and I look and I think, wow, you're very young, and then they wonder why they maybe had heartbreak. But if you're maybe 14, 15, 16, 17, and you're in a relationship, you're maybe not as mature as you would be when you're 25 or 24, if that makes sense. So I just feel like, for example, I just feel like I have friends that maybe haven't been in relationships, and for them, they've never had to go through heartbreak as much. It may happen later on, but they'll be more mature. So I feel like it can be avoided if you delay relationships from a young age. That's what I think.
Yeah.
So
I agree with Hannah. I think to a certain extent, it can be avoided.
Yeah.
I mean, you cannot control what the other person does in a relationship, but you can control your expectations and what you do in that relationship. And I think you have to manage your expectations. If you're in a relationship with someone, that person is not like everything. I mean, it's all about managing expectations. You need to protect yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're all Christians here, but I always think of that Bible verse which says, "Guard your heart." That stays with me, because you don't want to get to the extent where if someone is now out of your life, you feel like your life is over.
It's over.
Yeah. So part of it is having confidence in yourself that no matter what happens in your life, you'll be okay. But that doesn't mean that if a relationship ends, you're just going to be 100%. Of course,
Yes,
they
yes.
try to mourn that relationship, but that shouldn't stop you from dating. That shouldn't stop you from having a life.
Honestly?
Okay, you know, this issue is very subjective. Firstly, I would like to say you don't choose to be in a heartbreak. No one chooses to be in that kind of a situation. But what happens is, for you to be in a heartbreak, it's because you may have trusted more than you should. And you know, when you are in a heartbreak, it's because you would have loved that person. I mean, from the word go, you can't control yourself when it comes to love. Like you're telling me, no, I want to love this person to this extent. No, that happens on its own. I don't know how life is as far as love and heartbreaks are concerned, but it's kind of funny. Like I'm talking from experience. I, for one, have been a victim somehow. So, so what happens is I used to tell myself, no, I'm going to go this far. But then you realize later on, like I've really encroached my boundaries, and before I know it, I'm deep. And the consequences of you falling deep means you're up for a heartbreak. So it's very difficult for you to control, and it's very difficult for you to predict. And yes, to some extent, you can avoid it by trying to, you know, not engage yourself in any relationships of some sort from an early stage. But what happens is when you have found yourself to be in a relationship, you have no control over that. So that's what I think.
Okay, so let's.
Sorry guys, can I make a contribution before you move on?
Yes.
I wanted to say that I think.
Yes.
Okay, I wanted to say that I think it's about balance. Anesu said we can't necessarily choose. We don't necessarily choose to be heartbroken, and I think it's true, right? But at the same time, I think some heartbreaks are avoidable for real, right? Because I have seen a lot of memes about people ignoring red flags, and I've actually realized that our generation seems to be okay, or seems to frequently do these things of ignoring red flags in a person, right? And then eventually they get heartbroken, you know? And I think it's about having a balance between working with your mind and working with your heart as well, you know? As much as you have a very strong emotional interest in someone, take time to just analyze, critically analyze with your brain, because you know, is this going to work? What is this person is like this, will our relationship be sustainable, etc. And if you feel like on the brain side of it won't work, then other step away to avoid things like heartbreak. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. We left with about 5 minutes, so I'm just going to skip into the last one, and I think maybe one or two can just answer. What are some of the ways that one can opt to nurse or handle a heartbreak?
I think talking to other people.
You was a better person before the heartbreak. One should actually try do hobbies. If it's going to the gym, go to the gym. If you love playing games, play games, or read a book, read a novel. Give yourself time to just look in the mirror and reinvent yourself as a person. Who was I before this heartbreak? I was A, B, C, D. So I have to be A, B, C, D, because what hurts about a heartbreak is the fact that apparently the person who is going to hurt is going to be you, and the person who broke your heart might be moving on in their lives. So it's then your honors to
Yeah, that's fun. So the first question was a solo weekend getaway. Treat yourself, doing things that made you before they came along. That's kind of what enough of you were just saying. A second suggestion was second suggestion. Third one we got put yourself first. Take care of yourself. Protect your heart and peace. And also feel what you need to feel, which is a good one. Some people try to suppress the emotions and allow yourself to feel it.
so
This was a very great discussion that we've had on heartbreak and looking at it even with suicide, depression. I really thank you guys for coming on and joining us. Hope that you guys have enjoyed the discussion. So yeah, thank you very much, guys, for joining us for Create Zim.
Thanks, guys. Have a good weekend.